a series that I've started, a 3-part series. I'm talking about becoming God magnets. Becoming God magnets, right? And so the first sermon, I talked about our sphere of influence as Christians. And I said that every magnet has a magnetic field. And we saw Jesus. He was a magnet. And his sphere of influence was vast. He entered into a town, he entered into a village, and the Bible says that all the village gathered around him. That was the pull that he had as a God magnet. And so, we are called to be God magnets. That's the calling of us as individuals. That's the calling of the church. We are called to be God magnets. And everywhere Jesus went, not only did he have drawing power, but what he did was he produced transformational encounters. People encountered God when Jesus was around. When he went to a village, people encountered God. Whether they were in need of healing, whether they were in need of deliverance, whatever their needs were, people encountered God when Jesus was around. And I truly believe that's the sole purpose of the church. We exist on planet Earth in order to allow people to encounter God through us. We are called to be God magnets. We are called, and I said this in the first message, I said transformed lives producing transformational encounters. We are transformed lives being called to produce transformational encounters everywhere we go. Last week, I talked about a Christian's active power to influence. I said every magnet has a drawing power, right? And I used the scriptures that Paul talked about, and he called us fragrance of Christ. And I asked a very tough question to myself, and you overheard it. I asked the question, are we a fragrance or are we a stench? I talked about the whole concept of humanity. Sometimes we can stink of humanity in our lives. But God has called us to smell like Christ, to have the fragrance of Christ. So this morning, I want to talk to you the final point, and that's how do we sustain this influence? How do we sustain our magnetism? If we are God magnets, we've got to be God magnets every day. We've got to be God magnets no matter what the situation is. We've got to be God magnets in the morning, we've got to be God magnets in the afternoon. We've got to be God magnets 24/7 in our lives. But how do we sustain this? I mean, we are pretty good at being God magnets on Sunday morning. We dress up like God magnets, and we come here like God magnets. We sing songs like God magnets. We have a smile that's so magnetic. We hug each other, and we are just so Christian. Then Monday comes. It sneaks in on us. And next thing you know, we start losing our magnetism. So I want to talk to you about being God magnets 24/7 every day of our lives. In fact, Jesus called us agents of change. He said, you are salt of the earth. You are light of the world. If you think of salt and light, when light is turned on, it changes the environment it's in. The moment light is turned on, darkness is gone. The moment you put some salt in your food, it changes the environment where the salt is. The taste changes. We are change agents. That means everywhere we go, we have the potential of changing the environment we are in. That's what happened with Jesus. And that's why he's calling us to be that change. We are change agents. The reason why I do believe that we stop being change agents is because we start losing our magnetism, right? So I want to talk to you a little bit about how to stay magnetized, all right? So I'm going to give you, this is a magnet maintenance workshop, right? So today, you're in a magnet maintenance workshop. It's Magnet Maintenance 101. And I've given you your study guides. It's right there, all right? Pull it out, and we're going to go through magnet maintenance, all right? Now, magnets are in danger of losing their magnetism when they're exposed to extreme heat, severe impact, or strong magnetic field at a reverse polarity? I thought about that. Extreme heat, severe impact, reverse polarity. There's a sermon somewhere in there. Hey, that's like our Christian life. Our Christian life, if you take note of it, look back at your history of your Christian walk, all right? My heart just skipped a beat. My wife walked in. I better say that because Thursday I traveled to Vietnam on Valentine's Day. Guess who's in trouble? Do pray for me. I'm going to Faith Bible College has a ministry that we are in partnership with. We call Faith International, and we start schools around different nations in the world. And so I'm going to launch a school in Vietnam, Faith International Vietnam. So I'm going there. I'll meet up with the faculty there. We've run a couple of short-term courses there, and so now we're going to run the 2-year program. And so I go there to do that. Please pray for me and pray with me that there are about 40 pastors that are coming, and so pray with me that they will be touched, they will be impacted, and their lives will be transformed through this school that will operate in Vietnam. So we're talking about extreme heat, severe impact, all right? Reverse polarity. Our Christian life, these things that are outside, beyond our control, can affect our Christian witness, can affect our own Christian walk, right? What are you talking about, Andrew? Extreme heat, right? When pressure comes, when difficulties and challenges come our way, we get discouraged, we get despair, we are despondent. I tell you, these are one of the most effective ways the enemy uses to get us down in our Christian walk, right? Seasons of stress that we go through, extreme heat can affect our magnetism. Severe impact, things that happen in our lives that are beyond our control, tragedies, challenging circumstances, repeated blows that come our way that others don't seem to experience, but it seems to happen to us. When that sort of thing happens, when there's severe impact in your life, how do you handle it? Reverse polarity, worldly distractions, negative influences all around us that seems to suck out the energy of Christ-likeness in us. And we seem to lose our Christian witness. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how do you stay magnetic, right? And 2 things I want to recommend to guard your magnetism, to protect your magnetism, all right? And these 2 things are storage and recharging, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. First, we'll talk about storage. Where do you store yourself? Where's your spiritual address? All right? So I want to talk about storage. They say for magnets, you need to store it in a safe place. You need to store a magnet in a casing that protects the magnet from these 3 extreme things that will affect them. Extreme heat, severe impact, reverse polarity. So you need to store a magnet in a casing that protects them from the external. Your Christian life needs to be protected from the external. You can't control your circumstances. You can plan your whole year in January 1st and plan what you're going to do. Have 5 goals, 6 goals, right? I've got all that, but there's one thing I haven't planned. I haven't planned for unexpected circumstances. You know why? Because they are unexpected. You don't know it's going to happen. You have zero control about what that's going to happen. You don't know tomorrow what's going to happen. I've got plans for tomorrow. I've got appointments that I've made. So I've got stuff going on tomorrow. But I don't know the unexpected. And I can't protect myself from the unexpected. It will come. It will happen. So how do you protect yourself from the surroundings out there? How do you protect yourself from the outside circumstances? The answer is, find your space in God. You know, one of the biggest problems when the three extremes hit us, when the circumstances around us hit us, the first default setting is we ask the question, why? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to my family? Why is this happening to our city? Why is this happening to our nation? We hear tragedies and say, why? Why is this happening? My entire 53 years of my life and in my Christian walk since the age of 13, I've discovered this. The moment I ask the why question, it takes me further and further away from God. The why question takes me further away from a God solution. So I've learned never to ask the why question. Let me take you to Gideon. Judges chapter 6 verse 12. Judges chapter 6 verse 12. And here's Gideon, right? I believe you have this in your notes. So Judges 6:12. Gideon has a visitation from the angel of the Lord. You've got to remember this. The whole nation in his generation, they haven't encountered God. There is no word of the Lord in his generation. They are living in dry, parched, spiritual life. Right? And so here is Gideon now having an encounter with the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, "Mighty hero, the Lord is with you." Now the King James says, "Man of valor." Right? Now I don't think Gideon felt like a man of valor. In fact, he felt like he needed valor. "Mighty hero, the Lord is with you." And this is his response. "Sir," Gideon replied, "if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where are all the miracles our ancestors told us about?" I tell you, I have asked this question so many times. I've heard people ask this question so many times. Why? Why? Where are the miracles? You talk so much about the miraculous God, but where are the miracles? I live in a broken world. I live in a broken family. I have so much brokenness in my life. Why is this happening to me? Where are the miracles? Didn't they say the Lord brought us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us, handed us over to the Midianites. Then the Lord turned to him and said, "Go with the strength you have and rescue Israel from the Midianites. I am sending you." But interesting, isn't it? God ignores his question. Do you find an answer? He's asking why? Where are the miracles? God ignores his question. God does that, you know. He ignores stupid questions. Someone said, right, ask a stupid question, you get a stupid answer. But God doesn't do stupid. That's why he ignores stupid questions. Every time I ask him a question and he doesn't answer me, I realize possibly it's a stupid question. So I try and rephrase. Last week we talked about rephrasing. I try and rephrase my question. You know what God's answer was to him? "Gideon, you asking me where are the miracles? I have only one answer for that. It's lying dormant in you. That's where the miracles are. It's in you, Gideon. You are the miracle. I'm sending you as the miracle. Don't look around for the miracle. It's right there. It's in you." I'm telling you, friends, the church is a dormant, miraculous powerhouse. You and I, where are the miracles? It's lying right within us. When I go to Vietnam, I'm expecting God to move. I'm expecting him to move in the miraculous. I'm expecting to pray for those pastors and give them an impartation of the Holy Spirit, that they will go out to the villages, they'll go out to the small towns, and they will see the miraculous of God. And I'm going to tell them, you are the miracle. And I'm saying to you, I'm saying to me, where are the miracles? It's lying dormant within us. Gideon, you are the miracle. I'm sending you. You are my answer. So you're asking the question, why? Why is this happening? Well, stop. Because the answer is very clear. Look in the mirror, that's your answer. You are the answer. Ask this question, why am I here? That's a good question. Marcus asked that question, you see. What am I doing here? Am I just looking after a bunch of animals? Is that what I'm here for? Just looking after a farm? But the Lord had different plans for him. Look after the farm, Marcus, but that's not why you're here. Go to the bridge. You are the miracle. And he's been a miracle to so many as he touches their lives. Look in the mirror, you'll see the answer to the difficult questions you're asking about God. Why is this happening? I don't know. I know the answer. I am the answer. You are the answer. Where are the miracles? I don't know. But I know the answer is lying dormant in you and me. We are the miracle. Go with the strength you have. That's all God told me. Gideon, go with the strength you have. Andrew, I have no strength. You have strength. You got up this morning. That's strength. Go with the strength you have. Andrew, I can't get out of bed this morning. Can you pray? Yeah, I can lie down and pray. Go with the strength you have. Andrew, I don't know how to reach these people. Can you go and shake their hand and greet them? Yes, I can. Go with the strength you have. The miracle is dormant within you. Go with the strength you have. The miracle is you. You are God's response. So how do we maintain this effectiveness? How do we keep, when we get up in the morning on Monday, how do we keep this in our spirit saying, I am the miracle? Because when you look at the mirror, you don't look like a miracle.
Speak for yourself.
Amen, brother. That's confidence. Speak for yourself, bro. I look at my face and if that's not a miracle, what is? I am a miracle. The miracle is, why in the world did my wife marry me? That's a miracle. I tell you, how do you preserve your magnetism? How do you preserve this faith? How do you go out there like Gideon and say, I'll go out in the strength of God? How do you do that? The first thing you need to do is find your place in God. Storage. It's all about storage. All right? You need to think storage. Are you dwelling in a safe place? Are you stored safely? The psalmist in Psalm 91 said, those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge. He alone is my place of safety. He's my God. I trust him. When you look at this psalm, you see this thing. First of all, he identifies where he lives. He gives you his address. All right? It's Jesus Street, God Avenue. That's where he lives. That's where he abides. He said, those who live in the shelter of the Most High, what will you find? You find rest. If you're outside that address, there is no rest. If you're outside the place of God, there is no rest. How do you preserve yourself? How do you preserve yourself as a God magnet? You stay in the presence of God all day. You make him your refuge. You make him your shelter. When he is your shelter, when he is your address, when he is your dwelling place, then you find rest. And then only from that place of rest can you make declarations that he is making. So I put these words down. Where you live determines how you are. Where you live determines how you are. If you're living in the presence of God, if you're abiding in him, if he is your shelter, you will be at rest. Doesn't matter what your circumstances are. Doesn't matter what phone call you just got this morning. If you live and abide in him, right, he is your shelter. You will find rest. I'm not minimizing the pain you're going through. I'm not minimizing the challenges that you have. Because I know, and I know some of you so well, you tell me your stories, I carry your prayers with me, right? And I know you're carrying 3 generations with you. You have your children. You have your siblings. You have your children. You have your grandchildren. Some of you even have great-grandchildren. You're carrying 4 generations with you. That cannot be easy. So I'm not minimizing this thing. But I'm saying, as long as you are dwelling in the place of God, if God is your shelter, if God is your refuge, then no matter what the circumstances around you are, you will be at a place of rest. And then when you are at the place of rest, when you are at rest, that will determine what you say or do. You see, if you're outside God, if you're staying outside God most of your time, and God is not your dwelling place, you will be at a place of unrest. You may be even at a place of chaos. And from that place of unrest, from that place of chaos, you will speak, and you will declare, and you will act. From that place of anxiety, that's where you will speak, and that's where you will act. From the place of fear, that's where you will speak, that's where you will declare, and that's where you will act. But if you're coming from the place of rest in God, then your declarations will be similar to the psalmist. And I'm going to read to you some of his declarations, all right? Just look at the psalmist's declarations. Remember, it's coming from a secret place. He said, God is my secret place. God is my shelter. When I get in there, when I stay in there, I'm at a place of rest. And from that place of rest, he makes a declaration, all right? And he says that God, you alone are my refuge. You alone are my safe place. You are my God. I trust you. Then he moves on in verse 3. He will rescue you from every trap and protect you from deadly disease. He's not saying there won't be traps around you. He's not saying there won't be deadly diseases around you. But he's saying he will protect you. He will deliver you. He will cover you. He will shelter you. He will be your armor and your protection. Those are declarations that don't come from anxiety. Those are declarations that don't come from fear. Those are declarations that don't come from doubt. They come from a place of rest in God. And when you declare things like that, from a place of rest in God, you will act accordingly. You will make decisions accordingly. And you walk by faith and not by sight. Is that making sense to somebody this morning? We need to protect ourselves. We need to surround ourselves, case ourselves in the presence of God. Jesus said something similar, In John 15:5, he said this, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. You see, he says, stay with me. Stick close to me. Get stuck on me. Remember the song Stuck on You? You guys are too young for that. And some of you may be too old for that. I might be the only one who knows that song. But get stuck on Jesus. Like a stamp. My lecturer when I was in seminary said, let that stamp, put it on and let it not go. Get stuck on Jesus until the job is done. It is the dwelling that ensures safety and trust. It's the abiding that causes the effectiveness and fruit. So Jesus was saying, stay in me, live in me, make me your home, put me as your home address, make me your first point of contact, make me your go-to person. When things go wrong, put me on speed dial, dial me up first. Abide in me. How do you maintain your magnetic charge? Look at storage. Where are you stored? Second thing, you recharge a magnet by rubbing and stacking. So this is a phrase you'll remember for the whole week. Rubbing and stacking. All right? Let me explain to you. Right? Magnets can be recharged by rubbing them with stronger magnets or by stacking them more of them together. In other words, if you got a weak magnet, you get a stronger magnet, and you rub the magnets together, that magnet gets recharged. Right? If you got a whole bunch of weak magnets, stack them up on each other, and they recharge themselves. There's a sermon in that. That's why I'm going to preach it. What am I talking about? Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. I'm asking you, do you have a Christian brother or sister that you're connected to on a regular basis, where you can say, we sharpen one another in the faith? If you don't, find one. Find one now, right? Because together you will sharpen one another, strengthen one another, and keep your magnetism going. You say, hang out with giant slayers, and you become a giant slayer. Hang out with giant slayers, and you become a giant slayer. So I say this, hang out with turkeys, and you become the Thanksgiving dinner. It's in the rubbing and stacking. Hebrews 10:24, and I close with this. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. Let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. 2,000 years ago, the apostle who wrote the book of Hebrews saw the need for people to gather together and keep that flame burning, right? And he said, and he saw it as urgent. He said, it is urgent, it's imminent, Christ's return is imminent. So gather together. Don't neglect the gathering together. Encourage one another. Motivate one another. All right? To acts of love and good works. Why? Because Christ is coming soon. 2,000 years ago. Let me tell you something. If it was imminent 2,000 years ago, how much more it's imminent today? I dare to say he is coming. All right? Well, definitely sooner than 2,000 years ago. Does that make sense? And if it was urgent for them to stay gathered together, it's urgent for us. Stack ourselves up. Encourage one another. The men's group, right? Carmel men's group, we need to talk about it. Men, we need to gather and encourage one another. Women, you've got the women's group coming up. You need to encourage one another. Friday we meet for prayer. If you can't come, come. There's a prayer meeting in the morning on Sunday. Come, gather. Wherever you see an opportunity to stack yourselves up together, do it and encourage one another. Because it's all in the rubbing and the stacking that keeps us magnetized. Friends, we are agents of change. We are placed here on earth to change the environment we are in. So let's stop asking why. Let's know the answer. We are the answer. You and I, we are the answer. Christianity is a team sport. You can't do faith alone. You can't do hope alone. You can't do love alone. You can't play rugby alone. It's a team sport. Have you ever thought about it? If one person was saying, I'm playing rugby alone, who do you pass to? No one. Who are you running away from? No one. Who's going to tackle you? No one. That's not rugby. That's you running with the ball. Christianity is a team sport, my friends. We need to encourage one another while it is still day. Storage, recharge. That's what I'm talking about this morning. Are you stored safely? Do you know your dwelling place? Your secret place? Do you dwell in God? It is the dwelling that ensures safety and trust. Are you recharging yourself? It's in the rubbing and stacking, friends. Christianity, it's a team sport. Let's get on with the work of God. Let's change the environments we're in. Amen? Let's pray. Lord, our hearts are encouraged, stirred up, especially with that Gideon story. And sometimes, Lord, maybe we are looking outside for answers from the outside. Maybe you're looking for a man of God or a woman of God to change your situation. A prayer warrior maybe. Or maybe God is saying, go in your own strength. I have sent you. You are the miracle. So Lord, I just pray for all our circumstances, for the situations around us. And I pray, Lord, that we will find our safety and find our place in you. And cause us to be an encouragement to others as they are encouraging us to. In Jesus' name, amen.